do it. Hello, I am Lex, and this is Options Brew TV. Today we have with us two gents from Wealth-Lab. Let's bring them out. They are integrated partners with us at Tradier. Hi, guys. We had Volker up top and Robert down lower. Hi, gentlemen. How are you? Welcome to the show.
Howdy, Lex.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. Thanks for having us.
So we're going to talk about Wealth-Lab today. This is your gig, man. So we're going to go through it. But first, tell the folks about yourself, a little bit about yourself and your place in the industry, and you know, kind of how did Wealth-Lab come to pass? What's the dream behind it? You know, what did you do with building this product? Who wants to go first?
Volker,
I go first.
Okay, Volker, go ahead, fire away.
Well, Wealth-Lab was actually created more than 20 years ago. So, and it was actually created by Dion Kursek, who's an excellent programmer who developed the software, mainly because products like TradeStation and Metastock, who were around at that time, didn't have the features that he was thinking were important for trading. And I must say, they still don't have it in a way that it is. So Dion started developing that software. And I actually discovered the software 20 years ago, and I was thinking, wow, this is great. This is finally the product. And that's how Dion and I got together. And it was actually more than 20 years ago, but we leave it as that. Mm-hmm. And then I think Robert came into the team, and then a few others came into the team. And that's how it actually started. So it was basically a product made for Dion the way he wanted it to be, but it was also a commercial product for traders. So that's the long story, very short.
Okay, got it. And then Robert, you came along somewhere in that 20 years and met Volker and Dion?
Right, pretty early on also, yeah. I was doing my own search because I was writing my own software and found Wealth-Lab and decided it was 100 times better than what I was doing. I ended up writing the first add-on to Wealth-Lab, and they ended up hiring me after that. So I've been with them since 2004.
Oh, good.
Yeah, the funny thing is we haven't met Robert for a long time because we were all in different countries. And there's actually one guy still working with us that we haven't even met. Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah, we are really what is that?
Virtual company.
A virtual company working from home, and we've done that for 20 years. So
that's great. Before it was kind of chic and the thing to do, right? The remote working. So
yeah, it was. I don't know anyone was doing it. You know, we were definitely the front runners.
I love it. All right, good. So Wealth-Lab. Just brief kind of comment on what Wealth-Lab is. You know, option centric, stock centric, all the above. Tell us a little bit about it. I know we're going to get into it on the screen, so we'll do that right after. But what's just give us a kind of a brief on what Wealth-Lab is.
Well, actually, Wealth-Lab is a charting software where you can have your charts, you can have your Fibonacci's, your trend lines, anything. But you could also that's what basically everyone does. You know, you draw a chart, you draw a million indicators, and then you draw a conclusion out of it. And it always looks good on that chart. But Wealth-Lab does actually, the strength of Wealth-Lab is backtesting. And you can actually backtest anything. If you have the data, it can be options. It can be futures, it can be Forex, cryptos, and stocks. So anything that you can get data, ETFs, and whatever, any data, and you can actually test anything. We have systems that go by the moon. We have systems that go by snow in the Central Park in New York. You know, it's funny. People have funny ideas, and some actually bring interesting results. Yeah, the moon phaser is a strategy that is working for some reason.
Oh, nice.
But you can take a look at one of the sites. But it's that is what Wealth-Lab is. And one unique point is, well, it's unique. You can do it on a portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to be a programmer. You can be a C# programmer. That helps a lot, but you don't have to be. There's basically right now with version 8, you can do mostly anything without even writing a single line of code. And then you can test it on a portfolio with money management, different money management methods. Really, a lot of very, very interesting things.
All right. There we go. So I think, Robert, you can see that, right?
I can.
I want to make sure I'm not seeing things, so I think I can see it as well. So Volker, have at it.
Yeah, well, this is actually what comes first if you see it. It's our homepage, which tells you which version we have, all these extensions. There's 100, there's like tons of extensions. So, but I want to close that, and I want to go right into strategies, because charting anyone can do. You can build a strategy by blocks, how we call those drag and drop strategies. You can do a C# code, rotation. It's very interesting. And meta strategy, which actually is many strategies together with different money management strategies. And also you can do trade history. You can basically download all your history of trades and put them into one system and try to analyze it, what you could do better. Well, maybe you are extremely good. So I want to quickly create a strategy by blocks, because I'm not a programmer. So
that would be me. I would not know what I'm doing relative to programming.
Yeah. I quickly want to show you a limit system. So we take away the buy at market and sell at market, and we have a limit system. We want to buy at limit if a stock or whatever is 3% below the lowest, and we go here and we have the lowest low of the past 3 days. Oh, it could be anything. You can even optimize it, obviously.
Yep.
Optimization is very strong in Wealth-Lab. You can do walk forward optimization, expanding window, sliding windows. There's many optimization variations. So we have this as our entry, and then we say we exit after n bars, just to make it easy for this example. And I take 2 bars. And since I plan to optimize that, I actually add this number, and then later on, maybe if we find the time, I can optimize this thing. So this is it. But as it is with limit systems, very often, if the market goes down, you probably have 100 stocks that get triggered, but you cannot trade all 100 stocks.
Sure.
And because you might have some positions, or your position size was set up differently. So what I will do is I will actually include a transaction rate here, which tells you only buy those stocks that have the lowest RSI. So those who already dropped quite a bit before, that's the one that you want to focus on. And I use 4. And this number is really pure random, but it could be optimized too. I always call optimization not optimization, but testing the parameter stability, whether the parameter is stable and not like this. So I think this is all I need. And I have Robert here to help me if I miss something. I go to the strategy settings. Robert, did I miss something? Did I hear you?
No, you're
good so far. Okay, excellent. So you're going to strategy settings. Got it.
I go to strategy settings, and I say, let's say, well, we go crazy. We go the last 16 years, because we take the Qs as our benchmark. And what you see here, the NASDAQ 100 is each and every stock of the NASDAQ 100. And the good thing about Wealth-Lab, and not only Wealth-Lab, but the data that we use, is it considers survivorship bias. So it does not even take the 100 stocks that you have right now, but it only takes the stocks that were in the NASDAQ 100 in the past 16 years or 20 years, so that you don't get the survivors, which makes a huge difference.
Sure.
So that's what I take. I take a starting capital of 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
I say 10%, and I run the back test. And you see down here, it's loading the data. Wow, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's back testing it. Down here, you can see it. And you see that it actually loaded 230 symbols instead of the 100 symbols.
Okay.
And we are already done. 230 symbols in and out many times.
So let me ask,
Yeah.
Volker, how did we get to 230 if we only had the NASDAQ 100? How did that happen?
Well, because 10 years ago, there were stocks like Monster,
Gotcha.
for example, who were not in the NASDAQ, but who are now in the NASDAQ.
Understood.
So there was a different stock in the NASDAQ, which actually was then kicked out.
Okay.
So that stock is one of the 130 stocks. And so that is the survivorship bias, that you actually really only take those stocks who are at that given time in the NASDAQ.
Mm-hmm.
It could be we support Dow 30, S&P 100, NASDAQ 100, the German DAX, the MDAX, any data provider. That's the data that we support that is delivered with Wealth-Lab.
So can you create your own basket of stocks? Can you pick a random group of stocks that you'd like to add and do a back test on? You know, maybe it's 100 different stocks that are just somehow important.
Yeah. You can create 1,000 stocks, or you can create your own portfolio.
Got it.
Or futures or forex, or mix them even.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that all just like you want.
Understood. So, good. Okay. Terrific. So you have some results here after you ran the back test, right?
Yeah. This is actually the result. It's 608,000 profit, which is basically like the benchmark, pretty much like the benchmark. And I can scroll down a bit. The drawdown is also pretty much around that figure. So this is just what we see here.
You might want to click through some of the visualizers there.
Yeah. Here you see the drawdown, and here you see basically that the white is the drawdown of the benchmark, and the red one is the drawdown of the strategy.
Okay.
So
what is the blue down below? I can't see that. Sorry.
That's the holding period. That's actually the last equity high. That's how long you had to wait for a new equity high. In this case here, I can actually increase this. You had to wait for 600 roughly 50 days to go to a new equity high. But in general, getting new equity highs took roughly probably, the other highs are usually around 150 days.
Okay.
250. And you can actually see that here. If you take that 650 days, the NASDAQ took probably just as long. And you see here the strategy. This is the result of the strategy, and this is the result. White is the buy and hold.
Mm-hmm.
So that is if you would have bought the Qs with all the money.
Okay.
And actually, yeah.
Yep, I understand. I see it.
Yeah, and you see here at the bottom, and I don't want to move my mouse too much, but you see here that there are some stocks that have been kicked out of the NASDAQ here.
Okay.
And those stocks are not in the NASDAQ anymore for one or the other reason.
Okay. So now when you've done this, sorry, but I know you might be getting to this, but let me just ask anyway. What do you do with this now? You've done this back test. Now what? How do I make money going forward?
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we all want, right?
That's right.
So I'm looking at these signals for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So here are my signals for tomorrow, or well, basically tomorrow is today.
Okay.
And what I will do then is I have so many signals to buy. You see that?
And this is all still based on that initial trade plan. I'm using that word for lack of a better term. Is that correct?
Yeah, on that plan,
yep.
This one.
That plan, yeah.
Yeah, that plan is that you buy 3% below the lowest low of the past 3 days.
Yep.
And on that plan, using this filter to say I'm not buying all the stocks, on that plan, I have 97 signals, and now I only want to pick those with the lowest RSI. So I basically take, let's say, 1 second. Let me pick this here. I pick everything that is right here.
Okay. So you show, so that weighting is what? That's the RSI weighting, is that right?
That's the RSI weighting, yeah. No, I pick these stocks and I say those are the stocks that I want to trade today. And what I will do is I send them to the quotes window.
Okay.
And this one will open up. You see all the orders,
Sure.
everything as it is, all
Yep.
the orders. And I will now activate it for trading. I say, okay, now give me the data.
Mm-hmm.
I press the up, and there it is already. The data came in. I mean,
Okay.
just like that, very fast. And now it actually tells me that this stock here already was purchased because it already reached the limit. PayPal hasn't reached the limit yet, it seems.
Okay.
So we're still waiting for it.
Right. So the triggered means it was an order that was executed. It's in the marketplace, but it's not necessarily filled yet. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Those others are actually not filled yet. So like PayPal is at 77
Mm-hmm.
and the order price is 76. So it's about
Yeah, that's about $1 off.
$1 away from it. Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. So what the quotes tool does here is the strategy produces a bunch of limit orders. What the quotes tool allows us to do is to monitor which stocks are approaching that limit price, and when it hits that triggered price, we can, instead of actually putting all of those limit orders into the market simultaneously, we can pick which ones trigger, based on, well, there's actually a threshold that at 95% is our threshold. So if it gets close to the trigger price, it's going to stage the order into the orders manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have an auto stage button select. Volker has an auto stage button selected.
Okay.
If he had auto place, it would have placed the order immediately. But if you might just go ahead, Volker, pull up the order manager, and you'll see that triggered order is sitting there actually, staged, ready to. It looks like we have several staged orders.
Yep.
But these are actually ready to put into the market now because we've only staged the order. We didn't place it.
Okay. And how do you place it? Is it an automatic process, or is it something that you have to do on your own as a user?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It could have been auto placed if the button had been selected to be auto placed, but right now, Volker, you can demonstrate placing the order from a staged.
Sure.
From here.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, I can actually, I can basically select all and then say place the orders.
Okay.
And it will be probably declined because there's no money on the account.
Okay.
Unless you put some on it, and then I place it, and then you see all the error messages and the messages not enough money in the account.
Okay.
Which is good. You don't want to go on margin unless you have set up a margin account.
Got it. Okay, good. And then Robert, you mentioned that process of placing can also be automated. I think you said. I just want to make sure that's clear.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
This is just a staging the order gives you a chance to review it before you put it into the market.
Understood. Okay. Awesome. I love it. Okay. Good, Volker. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I was just about to say that this whole process can basically run automatically. There might be 1 or 2 steps that you have to do, but this staging and placing, this is just let's say a safeguard to say, hey, before I do all this, before this machine does all these things, let me verify things. So that's basically what it does. So this order manager gets all these orders and could actually place them automatically.
Love it. Nice.
So you don't have to sit on the desk all the time.
Yeah. Yep. From what I saw in the original plan, you have an exit strategy here as well, right? So if you were filled on many trades, you don't have to worry about them being unattended because you had an exit strategy on those, right? Whether it's a profit or a loss, it's going to exit based on your strategy.
Well, you have to basically run the strategy every day. You have to kick it, basically. You know, there might be ways to do it automatically, but there's one thing you have to do is between the market closing and the market open, you have to do it unless it's an intraday strategy. If it's an intraday strategy that runs during certain hours or times, then this could work. You know, you basically say, oh, if after 2 bars exit, that could work. But on this one, it basically needs end of day data, and this end of day data doesn't update automatically. You have to basically run the strategy, and it tells you tonight which stocks you're gonna sell or buy if they have been bought before.
Got it. When you have a position that actually executes, right? So now that exit strategy is appended to that executed trade. Is that right? Does that exit strategy, does that become a GTC order for you so that you don't have to put it out there the next day? How does that work? Does that make sense?
I don't think it becomes, because no, it probably will not become a GTC order, because let's say on Roth we got executed. The rule is after 2 bars exit. You know, it doesn't, the software right now, because it's not an intraday strategy, the end of day data is not updating. If it would be an intraday strategy where it says 5-minute bars and the bar come in all the time, then it would say, hey, I got executed here. After 2 bars, I have to sell the product. I have to sell the stock, and then it would sell it automatically. Then that would be clear.
Okay.
Because the data is coming in automatically.
Okay. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah. Volker, if you could just go back to your the signals for the strategy, and then sort them by the action. There should be there's probably some cells in it. The action, buy, sell.
No, there was not actually.
There were no cells. Okay. If had there been any cells, that they would have popped up there in the signals, and then you could have entered them right there.
Okay.
Yeah, they would have been they would have been on top, and they would have been you could execute them. In fact, I think what I think is let me see. Let me go by position and see whether we have. We have open positions, but they only had 1 bar. So they need another bar to be executed.
Okay.
So, but what I could do is, and I think I want to show that, is if I optimize this strategy, because I did say I prepared something for optimizing the exit after how many bars. I could actually optimize, and what it does, it goes again through the whole portfolio, and let me quickly do it while we are talking, and gives us a result if there is a better number, because 2 was just the number that I picked. So it's it didn't have any value.
Well, I don't know that we have a time to go through the optimization, Volker, but the one thing I wanted to stress was, it finished already, but is that this was just a demonstration of the end of day trading.
Sure.
There's also intraday trading tools where you can trade from a streaming chart, and also the strategy monitor, where you can trade several intraday strategies on hundreds of symbols at the same time. And that we'll have to leave that for another day, but
that's
Volker,
great.
go ahead and finish your optimization here quickly.
Yeah, I cannot see how long I'm talking already, but here's the optimization that was really quick. And in fact, it shows us that if you exit after the first bar, your profit would be much higher, and the drawdown would be much lower. And I quickly want to run it, and then I don't know how long I'm talking.
No, that's okay. Show us this. This is great.
Yeah. So it's running down here. You see that it doesn't need to load the data anymore, and we get a totally different result just by changing 1 number. And you can see here now, all of a sudden, this strategy becomes amazingly good compared to buy and hold.
Right.
And And the drawdown is actually even better because you were not holding it for 2 days when you buy a stock that keeps on dropping.
Mm-hmm.
So this is just something you can do with it, a real quick, and that was just a simple, quick optimization and a strategy that has been, I think we call it something like LDL or something, has been around in variations for 1,000,000 years. So
that's great. And then, so are you going to add options to this product, or is it already there and I don't know it?
Well, the options is it's like always like this, if you have the data, you can include it.
Sure.
Options is a little bit tricky, bit ask spread and so on.
Mm-hmm.
What I usually recommend is people, you get let's say I have these positions or I have signals. You can convert a signal into an option trade.
Sure.
That's how I would do it, because backtesting with options, you have to get the data. You have to get it's a huge data collection. But
sure.
I would say, if you know, let's say what do we have here? We have a win-loss ratio of well, no, we don't have no, we have 57% winners. So you get an idea which stock is probably going up in the next few days,
Mm-hmm.
1 or 2, or actually 1 day. So you could convert it into an option trade.
Sure.
But if you have the data, you can use options. Yes,
okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I see, look at, I talk to a lot of retail customers. They like using options too. And this is an entry point and exit point. Options are perfectly suited if you want them to be. That's great.
Or you just take those and say, I'm looking at them more closely,
Yep.
buy an option there.
Yeah, no, this is great. Very good.
I think the thing, the data is always a problem, because the options data, you're typically looking at the front month and you only have about a month or two of data until, but you can, for example, if you were able, you could program a strategy to actually use the option as a vehicle, and Wealth-Lab could actually generate the alert, the signal, and automatically trade the option too.
Nice.
So that's definitely possible.
Yeah, I love it. Okay, good. And then, so how do folks sign up? I'm gonna go back to here. How do folks sign up for this? They can go to your website. Is that right?
Yeah, they can come to the website, download the software, and use it. I think there's a 2 weeks trial.
Mm-hmm.
And afterwards, they can either get a monthly subscription or buy an annual subscription.
Okay, so you do both.
Yeah, we do both. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And can you say what's the monthly subscription ballpark? What would that be?
Monthly is $39, and the annual, there's two. There's a premium version which includes all the extensions, including the Tradia brokerage extension, which is $3.99 a year, and the other one is $2.99, and then you can basically say, I purchased those extensions that are important for me. There's like lots. There's a neural net. There's a various optimizations, different market data, things like this. So it's
nice. Awesome. I love it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna go crazy. I like getting in deep. But so finally though, the choices of building your plan, you can make multiple conditions, I'm assuming, right? You can go crazy if you want to. You gave us a very basic version of it, but I'm assuming you could add layer upon layer if needed.
Yeah. You can go and filter it by basically anything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, have you ever done one where you filtered so much you get 2 or 3 results and you're like, these must be good? My goodness.
That's what we call over optimization.
Looking for the perfect trade, right?
Yeah. No, you can basically filter as much as you want, but I think one thing is, if you keep it simple, that's at least my credo. I know some other people think different, but I think if it's simple, then it has the best chance to survive all kind of market conditions.
Sure.
So.
Sure. Okay. Well, guys, thanks for coming on. Let's we'll continue on in a version 2, in episode 2. But this was a great intro to Wealth-Lab. Boy, it's exciting stuff. I love it.
Thank you.
You bet. All right, stick around, okay?
Thanks.